Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The truth about gun crime in America. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. As you may know, President Obama and now Hillary Clinton are calling for more regulation of gun sales in the USA. That is bitterly opposed by the National Rifle Association and some other Americans who believe the government should not intrude on the right to bear arms. Of course, there are logical compromises that can and should be made. But the issue is all about emotion, not rational thinking. Perhaps the best soundbite I heard after the Oregon massacre was this.
I mean, the reality is gun control laws control the behavior of legitimate people. People who rob stores, people who rob banks, and people who are insane and want to go ahead and murder don't follow the gun control laws.
Of course, that is true. No amount of legislation is going to stop a madman from killing. And right now, there are more than 300 million civilian-owned firearms in the USA, according to congressional research data. That's just about one gun for every U.S. citizen. So even if you stop gun sales, which is unconstitutional, there would still be 300 million firearms floating around. Now, in order to stop the insanity, Talking Points will put forth what should happen in the gun arena. First of all, politicians should knock stuff off like this.
We have got to keep guns out of the hands of people who should not have them, domestic abusers, people with serious mental health problems. There's got to be a better tracking and record keeping.
Now, Mrs. Clinton knows it's impossible to keep guns away from dangerous people, so why demagogue the issue? However, better tracking and record keeping would be a good thing. For example, convicts should not be able to buy guns, and the FBI database is there to flag gun sellers to that circumstance. Also, if an American undergoes treatment for mental illness and is hospitalized because of it, that should be in the FBI database as well. Yeah, there are privacy violations here. But the greater good is served by keeping people with criminal records and mental problems away from firearms, correct? Therefore, background checks should be mandatory, even at gun shows and on the net. Conservative Americans who value keeping the peace should back that. Liberal Americans who want all kinds of regulations, in addition to that, are being irrational. Every time I bring up the Chicago murder rate, every time, where gun laws are stringent, I get blank looks from the left. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to hear about it. They have no solutions. Chicago's run by ardent liberals. Gun crimes there are totally out of control, despite the toughest laws in the nation. So, if those tough gun laws don't work in the Windy City, why should they work anywhere else? President Obama and Hillary Clinton. Talking Points has said it before. All gun crimes should be federalized and gun laws themselves should be made by the states, with the two exceptions of mental health and convicted criminals. If Texas wants to have lenient gun laws, fine. If Massachusetts wants the opposite, fine. But if someone commits a crime using a gun and is convicted, they should receive a mandatory 5 years in a federal pen on top of the punishment for the other crime. That would go a long way in stopping the abuse of guns, would it not? Right now in Chicago, cops can find you with a gun. Little happens in many circumstances. Plea bargains all over the place. That's got to stop. Summing up, the husband of former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who herself was shot by a madman and badly injured, told the truth yesterday when asked this.
What gun laws can you point to that specifically would have prevented the shooting in Roseburg, Oregon, or any of the horrific shooting events we've seen in the last 5 years or so?
You know, with individual events, I mean, sometimes there isn't a specific law that you can point to that would prevent a tragedy like this from happening.
Mr. Kelly, a good man, wants more stringent background checks when guns are sold. But he knows that laws cannot stop the madness. And that's the memo.